By
John's
the
up.
way, Bradley,
All right.
if I can add, John joined the mastermind last week, so welcome. Um, and we're having his onboarding call, I think, on Friday. So I'm
Awesome.
really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to John. So thank you for joining, John. I'm pretty excited to talk to you on Friday. So just wanted
Very
to
cool.
say that.
John, he says, so welcome to the mastermind, John. He says, I was wondering how other people deal with getting rural businesses verified. These businesses don't receive mail at their location. I had one business in particular where I followed the procedure for photos and the rest, and they said they would only verify with a video call from the business with the owner, which at the time wasn't possible. Thanks. Yeah, I've actually experienced that one time for Mario's Cab Service, which is actually the case study for local GMB Pro. I had to go through that exact same issue, and it wasn't because it was rural. It was because of there was an existing verified GMB profile that the owner didn't have access to. So, anyways, okay. So for rural businesses, how can you verify? Well, my first suggestion to you would be tell the rural businesses to go rent a PO box from the local post office and use the street address option. That solves their problem. Now they have a physical mailing address for their business, which is the PO box. And they can register that physical address using the street address option from the post office as their business address. And if they're not receiving mail at their address, they're probably not receiving customers at that address either. So you can opt to hide the address from Google Maps, right? I'm just assuming that that's the case. If they can't receive mail at their business, their business address, because it's a rural business, they likely don't get customers there either, right? So you probably don't need to display the address. And so in that case, I would say go ahead and get a PO box and use the street addressing option, which is just an additional form you fill out. It doesn't cost any other money. Or buy a done for you verified Google My Business profile from MGYB, and we'll create it for you, right? And now you've got an actual GMB Maps listing that's verified that you can brand for the company. You can put their phone number in it and all that kind of stuff. And it will show up in Maps without you having to do the verification, jump through hoops for verification as Google is making you do. Okay. So that would be my first suggestion, is just either go get your own mailbox or use our service, which, guys, just use our service. It'll save you a shit ton of time. If you got to go get a post office, I was just talking about this in the training that I've been recording this week for Local East Pro. I used to get a ton of mailboxes myself, PO boxes. But I mean, even just last month, I got 2 more just last month. And then we launched the MGYB Google GMB verification service. And now I'm not doing any more post office boxes because it uses so much of my time. For example, if I got to drive an hour away, first of all, I rent the PO boxes online, but you have to go to the post office, the physical location, to sign the paperwork, show 2 forms of ID, and then pick up the keys. And that's when they assign the actual box number to you. So you have to drive to the location, fill out the paperwork and all that, and get the keys and the box assigned to you and all that. Then you have to go back and register the GMB, request verification, and then drive back to the post office, 7 or 10 days later to pick up the postcard and hope that it's there. Because I can't tell you how many times I've driven an hour in one direction, so a 2-hour round trip to register the PO box, then a 2-hour round trip to check for the postcard, and it's not there. So I have to go back and request it again, and then go back another 2-hour round trip to get it. That's 6 hours to get a postcard. You can buy a postcard, verified service GMB profile from us at MGYB for $150 or $200. Again, I don't know what you guys' time is worth, but to me, 6 hours of time I'd rather spend $150 or $200 and have it done and not have to spend 6 hours driving back and forth and a month's worth of time. So, that's why I'm saying, guys, I would highly recommend that you just use that service. The last thing I would say about this, John, is if you, for rural businesses, that's where I think the problem is. If you can't get a verified physical mailing address for the business, then it may be very tough to verify those businesses unless you do what I said, which is just come up with a different address, right? So does anybody have any other suggestions for them? For John, I mean?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. That was a good question, John. But yeah, what I would do is I would just abandon that one and start over, or mark it as permanently closed or something like that. If you can't get it verified, it's no good anyways, right? And then start over again. And I would highly recommend you just purchase a done for you verified GMB profile. It's going to be so much faster and easier. Okay. And by the way, when you purchase them, they're already verified is what I'm saying.